a lot more research and study are going into like depression and anxiety. And to an extent, these chips could help sort out that problem.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jerry. Does that solve the problems though? Depression medication or
Yeah,
like
or you
anxiety
can take
Yeah.
those and get
Or you
rid
can
of
like,
get
that.
shrooms. Shrooms
But
are
those
always
are,
helpful.
I don't know, like
Shrooms?
I know
Did you just
people
say
who take those.
shrooms?
Yeah. No, there's so much research on shrooms. Like I joined
true, that's true.
like a psychedelic society. Like for me, I'm all for psychedelics. Okay, for depression.
Okay,
and,
okay,
Yo,
okay.
why-
Calm down,
why-
calm down. Why are we going? I'm trying to lead you into that.
some LSD, man.
I'm trying to
No.
help you. Go talk about emotions. Stop talking about shrooms.
Okay, in a sense, it actually helps out with depression because in the society, they were telling me how the brain is plastic. And you know how antidepressant medication, they try to null you down and like calm you and like that. But psychedelics, that's the opposite, where it makes more connections in the brain. So it uses how it uses how much the brain is plastic to its maximum advantage by connecting even more things. And these connections are what makes you come out of the depression, because depression is where you lose a lot of happiness, or like you lose the will to like have sex, or like do your favorite activities, because there are no connections in the brain. It doesn't. You feel like you're so null, like you just don't want to do shit. But psychedelics does the opposite, and that's what makes you happy. So I think that's why I'm all for psychedelics. That's what I learned from neuroscience too. So
I think that's pretty interesting because at the end of the day, the brain is just a center for all these signals to be passed on, right, from end to end, from each what do you call it?
The synaptic neurons.
Yeah, that right. At the end of the day, it is just signals being sent in your brain.
Right.
And if you are dulling, like you said, if the antidepressant's job is to dull these signals, then all it does is it suppresses. It makes each signal weaker. But if, let's say, there is an issue with the brain that causes these depression or these emotions that you're feeling,
You probably
anxiety.
wouldn't even receive the signal.
Right, exactly. So you're saying that the psychedelics are actually repairing these signals or
Connecting to more.
helping them
Creating
connect.
more connections.
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
Because the main point of why these medications are dealt is because because in depression you have these like really bad thoughts, like, oh yeah, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, and then it just makes you really hate life in general. And so that's what this depression medication tries to set, that okay, instead of having these thoughts, let's not have thoughts of these kinds.
Yep.
Yeah. So in psychedelics, it makes more connections. It makes you like, oh, okay, maybe this could be related to this, and I could find happiness. I don't know how psychedelics works, but it creates more connections. Where
It's like it's more like a self-actualization like method to dealing with depression. I guess that's what you're trying to say, no?
Yeah,
But
it is.
I guess the issue, if I said that it's like psychedelic or like different drugs, like you knowing the exact amount and knowing the exact dose to target that exact part of the head or brain is, I think that's still up to debate. Like if they make it to like a very concise formula, or like have like different people require different dose and everything that you're talking about, even the like connection stuff, you don't know what you're connecting to. You know what I mean? So that's pretty hard. Oh, by the way, this whole conversation, I don't know how it's gonna affect you finding your next job. By the way, if this is on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put this after you get a job. Man. I was like, we can't put this episode on until you get a job.
Yeah, dude, you're trying to find a job. You're talking about, oh yeah, anti-depression. Fuck that. Go to shrooms. Like that's not really at all, bro.
Hey, I'm a strong advocate. Okay.
Okay, bro.
This is what I learned, but like, yeah.
It's highly illegal here in Hong Kong, by the way. I don't know about you. I think Singapore is a lot harsher on that, by the way.
That's actually really sad. Like I'm watching a whole documentary on LSD, and it was actually when LSD just came out, it was like a miracle drug, and there were a lot of research being done on it. I think it was until the Reagan era where he actually declared LSD as a class 1 neurotic, and then all studies just stopped. There were actually a lot of.
Wasn't that because of the MK Ultra thing?
I mean,
like CIA
they were,
taking the psychedelic and trying to control people's mind. That was like one of the.
Oh.
That was one of
Wait,
the
you guys
reasons.
never heard of that?
I've heard of that.
I heard of that, but I don't know if that
Yeah.
was the reason on it or not.
Yeah.
But like the thing was like there were actually a lot of research about on LSD and how it helps like personality disorders and other disorders, and it was actually having a lot of effect. And I think only recently have they like started on like actually doing more research on it again. Like before that, they were literally like sending LSD to like all different types of laboratories and doing all different types of researches. Yeah.
There were a lot of research because of that particular program. They got so much data out of it. They're just testing it on different people and seeing how they would react to different like LSD and like psychedelics. Because what they're trying to do is like get information out of people's mind without their consensus.
Well,
That
they
was
wanted
the
to
whole
make
idea.
a truth serum out of LSD.
Exactly,
But
right.
but that's
that was
not what LSD is for.
It's not. It's not. That's why it was controversial. Yeah.
Right.
That's why they're doing all these tests. To bring it back a phase 2. It sounds like what you're talking about.
They're trying to get some answer from like some bad guy, and they just cures depression. It's like, oh god,
And it's like,
oh, I'm so happy now.
and it's like, fuck. How am I gonna abuse all these depressed people? Like,
think they're
we gotta
more, like,
sell more
seeing
antidepressants.
visuals with
Fuck.
LSD.
It's like a growing mushroom is a lot cheaper than making the depression. Fuck, money gone. Fuck, depression. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on a tantrum.
But I definitely do agree with Satish. Like I think all neurotic is it neurotics?
Narcotic?
Yeah, narcotics. Sorry.
Wait.
Narcotics.
I don't know.
Like-
I don't know.
What
And it-
context are you trying to go for?
Neurotic is asexual, no?
No, the narcotics. Narcotics.
Neurotics,
Narcotics, like,
neurotics are drugs that affect your brain, right?
Yeah, it is. And narcotics
Oh,
is just drugs.
Narcotics is just drugs in general.
Okay, cool. So either way
English.
works.
English.
Okay, I think that all neurotics should be like legal, but like like regulated, and like that's how you would like end the drug on war and like actually have like advancements like.
Yeah,
Does it make
legalize all the cartels. Yeah.
Biden
No,
tried
when you
to do that.
when you legalize the type of drug, you disintegrate the cartels because they run out of business. Like everything is in the free market, and
Yeah, so we should legalize prostitution, legalize drug. What else did the cartel do? Legalize stealing cars, selling illegal parts. We would solve every issues.
But I think when a government legalizes a substance, it actually makes it more expensive for the end user. I think
it does.
because they
Yeah.
Because
And
there's
it
like a
makes it
proper
cleaner as
system
well.
in place.
right, and
It
then
makes it
they're
cleaner too,
taxed.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
regulations.
substances that are just mixed up.
Hex.
Like if you come buy stuff from Colombia and try to ship it to the U.S., they are. I mean, since it's kind of expensive to bring cocaine, they just try to lace it up so it could be cheaper, and it's even worse for the end user.
Right.
So if you legalize it, then it's a lot cleaner. Like, okay, this is the real cocaine.
Right.
Take it. It's all
Right,
yours,
Satish,
kind
you
of
know
thing.
a lot about this, huh?
Well, I mean, I have my sources.
I think what Satish is talking about is like the fentanyl issue, right?
Yeah.
Like drug
Oh,
dealers.
lacing it with it, yeah.
Drug dealers really like to lace drugs with like fentanyl, which it's causing all the deaths usually. Yeah, because very little overdosage on fentanyl would kill you already. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad Biden tried to legalize all weed carrying for. I think you can like the people who are incarcerated because of weed, they're out now. So I think that's a good way. That's a good step to go somewhere.
I mean, it's just
Well,
a small dosage.
I think weed is getting more and more like it's becoming more and more common. Then like Germany just like legalized it. Yeah, Germany just legalized it.
Thailand especially because it's such a
Oh,
it's
yeah,
an Asian
Thailand.
country.
It's like a party land.
Right. I mean, Asia is always like 10 years late, so I think Thailand did a really progressive move there.
Right.
No, I was just thinking, like, we put in so much effort to stop people from smoking, and like cigarettes. And now it's like, hey, we got weed now. It's like I don't know. I did try recently. It was I didn't exactly enjoyed it. The dosage was a bit too much. But what I would say is I really don't know if legalizing weed is the right move right now. Like even like there was like a study recently that proved that smoking weed doesn't improve your intelligence or creativity.
I don't think it's about like people who would smoke either way, like even if you legalize it or not legalize it. And like I don't think well, I mean, at least for me, I don't think the main point of the whole thing was to debate if weed is a substance that we should legalize or not legalize. It's more about like leaving that choice up to the end user. Like I
Wait.
think that's the main.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, what's
My man's
happening?
gone.
I pressed the wrong
Oh,
button.
he's back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going. Keep
Wait,
going.
wait. I
Yeah.
think what you mean is it is whether or not it's legalized. That is the big question.
I mean, if weed is good or bad
yeah,
for you, like
yeah, that is
Yeah.
the question that we don't really, or people don't really care about, because like you said, cigarettes are legal. They aren't like stopping you from buying it.
But they were way worse.
And it's like
Right.
obviously bad.
Right, and some could argue that like, oh, alcohol might be worse. So I think the point is like Ela says that, oh, it is a drug or a substance that people can on their own judgment take it or not, right? And it's not the government's place to say, oh, this is illegal.
And also,
Well-
Jerry, speaking back to what you added, like you said, your dosage was wrong, and that's actually one of the main issues that you get when you criminalize a drug, so that like drug dealers need to
Control the dosage.
they actually intensify the dosage, like, and concentrate it much higher, just so it's easier to sell, easier to store. Once you legalize it, you will have different tiers. Like, you'll have beers, you have shots, you have like hard liquor. Like, there will be different tiers for you to actually choose from. Like, it won't be. Yeah, you understand what I'm trying to get.
I
Yeah,
think it's something that you have to try it out yourself, because like kind of
Yeah.
like how alcohol works. Like there's like shots and like beers and like different alcohol percentage for I guess for weed. If you try to go to Amsterdam, they have there could be edibles of different sizes and just like joints or something that you want, and it's something that could be I guess sold in various amounts, and that way the user would know, okay, this is the right amount to get this much that you wanted, right, in the first place. And so they wouldn't get too paranoid and like, okay, this is so much that I got. And I'm just like tripped out my balls. And
Yeah,
But what Jerry said was also important, because like we still lack the regulations on like labeling for weed. Like there, like, yes,
there
sure,
is
we have
no
the
regulation.
yes, we have like in America, at least there's a percentage wise, there's like an actual like labeling of how much concentration of THC they have inside. However, we don't have one on the naming, and we don't have one on like further information on it. Like how do I explain it? Like, first, sativa and indica is a whole other story. Like there's no such thing. I mean, you could argue about it, but yeah, there's no like good classifications on weed yet, other than the percentage and like how much it actually affects you. So that would affect how much you interpret the dosage on it. And also another point I want to make is that, Jerry, you had an edible, and
Yeah, I did.
I would say that's why you thought it was too much.
Well, I mean,
you should never try
that's-
edible for the first time. That's
You
always
Yeah,
the
I
worst
mean,
thing.
for the first time. What do you?
No.
No.
The thing about weed is, for me, like, I'm not gonna shame anyone that is using it. I think it's alright. Like, it's your choice. Like, what was Citus was saying. But at the same time, I find it extremely counterproductive that you're trying to stop smoking in one hand and you're legalizing smoking another thing in another hand. I think we've talked about this pretty extensively, especially with e-cigarette. Like, people are saying that using e-cigarette would be a way to stop people from smoking. Statistics have proven that people that use e-cigarette are far more likely to actually go into smoking normal cigarettes. So, it's like pretty ironic. But again, like legalizing weed or other substance, to be honest, is why we are not legalizing it, because people are gonna abuse it. People are gonna overdose on it. People are gonna use a lot of it. It's pretty much like any other substance, by the way. But that is the problem, is there is a small minority of people that are going to abuse it to a very high extent. That's why the government cannot legalize it.
Well, but okay, so would you say that drinking Coke like every day, like 3-4 cans, is the very extreme is that, oh, I drink like 2 or 3 Coke per day?
All right. I think Gabriel brought up a really good
That
point.
is
right there.
that is also harmful to me, but it's not up to the government to say, oh, this is illegal because, oh, you can't abuse it. Or you can abuse anything, right? Like coffee is a
Yeah, for sure.
Coffee is also another most used drug, and people can't go a day without coffee. And so, but it is not up to the government to regulate it. So I think using the argument that says, oh, weed is not a good alternative to cigarette, because it is not true. I don't think that is a good alternative, because they're two completely different things, right? So when substances are legalized, there is more regulation and there's more red tape involved into pushing it to the general public. And I think in general that should be a good thing, because at the end of the day, you can hold the people who sell these products accountable. There's someone to hold accountable, because they are the one who put on the label, one dosage is 10 milligram of like weed or like shrooms or LSD. There is this label, and that they know how much they're selling to the general public. Whereas if it is illegal, you don't know the exact dosage of each of the product that you're buying, and obviously you cannot hold them accountable because it's an illegal trade, right? So that's
actually super interesting. Like there's actually like no correct answer to that, because if you think about it, like what are the governments gonna do? Like if you see that there is a problem, you ban it completely. Like if the government is harsh enough, like in Singapore, you can't eat chewing gum, so there's no gum on the street. Like people are not gonna try it, you know? But they pretty much solved the problem.
Yeah,
is that there's no gum on the street. But it's hard. But as a for myself, of course I would have a bit of bias on cigarette, because I literally have a family member that passed away with cancer, like heavily linked with cigarette, and I have another family that is also having cancer because of cigarette. I would have a bias on this particular, and of course like Gabriel's example of the Coke, and which would ultimately lead to like diabetic issues, and also there are a lot of studies that say that sugar is actually causing depression for a lot of people. So hard to say, but of course you can't just ban.
I think the government cares more
sugar
about
would be very extreme.
Yeah. I think the government cares about how fast a substance kills you, though. Like if you look at how, if you look at cocaine, it's really dangerous because you just need a little bit and you're dead.
Well, I mean, you can also get a bucket of bleach and drink it.
Yeah, like I guess
which is not recommended, by the way. Do not do that; it will kill you.
Let's not do that.
Bleach doesn't get you high. It's just that
it kills you. It kills you.
It kills you.
We know that.
If we're gonna speed run life, that's the way.
I do see Jerry's point though. Like, why do governments try to ban like cigarettes, and like why shouldn't we have the same treatment? I feel you. I think the whole point of banning cigarettes was not because of any type of morality issue, not because of any type of actual main issue. I think it was because that was what the populist consensus was, and they just had to do that because of the popular consensus. Like people don't like it's not cool to smoke anymore, so we gotta ban it. It's
that's
cool
so
to smoke
that's
weed.
so
we gotta,
interesting.
we
Yeah.
allow it. I
I
think
think a
that
lot of
was
friends don't.
I think that's the main drive of the governments. And in terms of actually doing what's right and what's wrong, I think it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taxes as well. I mean, the government, in the end of the day, can charge how much these substances cost. And like in Singapore, for anything, like just for a bottle of vodka, it's like usually in the States, I remember Absolute is like $15, and here it's like at least 45 or $40
Okay,
for
okay,
for the
okay,
same thing.
okay.
So they could try jack up a price just so that they can get as much money from the people. And
I actually like the idea. That's actually pretty fair.
We would like if a country would legalize a substance, they would tax it heavily. For example, in Thailand, they have quite a high tax on weed right now.
That's
Yeah.
fair, I think.
okay, but
But
then let me throw you a question though. Okay, there's
I
even
throw it.
in the UK there's a sugar tax they were trying to have where
I heard about it.
so-
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
Fuck, it goes
they're
back to the coke. Fuck.
yeah, because they were trying to see like there's like a obesity problem and everyone's like trying to be fat. So
Yeah,
they're like, okay,
Jimmy
you know what?
Oliver, fuck it.
Let's get the sugar on. But there are a lot of other substances that are created in place of sugar, like sucrose or
Oh, okay.
aspartame.
Mm.
These
Yeah.
substances are about 100 times as sweet as sugar, but with no calories. And
Yeah.
then they change the flavor of these drinks, and they're not exactly the same as sugar. But if you drink aspartame or have drinks that have aspartame, you're likely to drink more or eat more in place because of how sweet it is. And so, in the end of the day, you're still consuming more calories from other substances, but not exactly the drink itself.
So you
Just to-
decrease the calorie in the sugar, but you are consuming calorie in other stuff like
Yeah,
like a
like you have
bread.
more.
There are a lot of calories, so you're eating more of the bread but less of the sugar.
Yeah. Instead of medium fries, you can make. I'm gonna get extra large fries, just so that. Oh yeah, let me get that drink. So in the end of the day,
Just to add on to your point, like I think recently they have like studies on those artificial sugars and how it actually increased your chance of getting diabetes. And there are like new studies now about how artificial sugars are not good for you. I mean, UK is a very interesting place. I feel like they like to tell, like they like to approach problems by giving out solutions rather than putting out a goal. It's kind of like the iPhone situation where they say like, okay, everyone needs to use USB-C. Like they don't be like, okay, everyone needs to use a universal the type of charger and then like work from there. They just give you an answer. So I don't know if they're necessarily correct on this issue. Like just adding tax on sugar, like would that help the problem? Like what Satish said.
I think this is going back to your point where you said that all of these decisions that the government make is more like a political move or like a political agenda to kind of appease the public, right? Oh, there's a
Right.
public opinion that sugar is bad, we're obese now. Okay, let's just put this tax or whatever, right? And going back to the smoking example, if you think of maybe like US or the Hong Kong, the general public does not like smoking that much, so that's why there are all these bans or like you can't smoke indoors. But if you think about a society like Japan, where there's still an older generation that smokes a lot in Japan, so that's why a lot of even restaurants in Japan still allow smoking in the same area as like non-smokers. So I think for them politically, the general public is more skewed towards liking like smoking and stuff like that. So that's why all these rules are made to what the current like public opinion is, or like what they think the public opinion is.
Yeah,
And,
for Japan, I think it's like a huge culture thing as well.
Yeah. Adding on to the point for Gabriel, since even in Singapore, like if you're on the main streets of Orchard, like that's where everyone is for buying anything, and there are specific spots for smoking where you
Yeah.
cannot just smoke on the streets. You have to go to this specific place to smoke. So it's highly discouraged over there, and that way that prevents a lot of people from smoking. And a person who wants to try smoking wouldn't try it as much because they don't see it. And that's kind of how I think anything works. Like if you see it so much to the point like, oh yeah, maybe it could be a good thing. But if you don't see it as much, like it's just gone. It's not exactly
I
something
guess
that you
the
go for.
general populace don't like chewing gum then.
Not in Singapore.
Look at
Tried it.
it's so dumb though. Okay, the whole point of banning chewing gum is like so that people don't put it under chairs and like tables and whatnot. And
Fair
they banned the whole
point.
thing. Yeah, but no, I don't know. Banning the whole substance just because of that doesn't. Like, you can just hide a lot of things under the table. Then you can just be like, "Oh, like I hate this. Can you just ban this?"
Dude,
Like,
that's
oh,
so interesting.
Yeah.
That is Singapore's different breed.
Wait, okay,
That's
so-
interesting.
Wait, sorry. So, what if you were chewing something else? Can you chew like a gummy?
You could chew a gummy, yeah, but you cannot buy
because it melts. Because it melts. Like
It's fine.
Yeah.
Huh.
But then if it's a chewing gum,
It can't be
because you
too
can just,
chewy,
yeah.
though.
No.
Like licorice, like you can't eat licorice or something like that.
Yeah. So like you can't just hide things and just ban things. I feel like I think that's what Singapore's problem is. Like they
Yo,
just
That's
try
so
to, like-
interesting. They
you guys
didn't
have, like,
ban
gum
any alcohol,
dealers?
right?
You guys have
Yeah.
gum dealers, like
Yeah.
They do actually though. Like if you-
Really?
there's a Telegram group where you
Oh
can
my
go
God.
my
and
god.
the people try to smuggle it from Malaysia, so they got like huge
Oh
boxes
my
over.
No way.
There's a black market there. They're
No
like,
way.
oh, I got some
No way.
great flavor. Be like,
No
oh,
way.
And I have
No
to secretly
way.
eat it at home or
Dude, you want some
something, like,
Eclipse?
oh, that's not unheard
No
of.
way. That is
Five
so
gum.
cool.
I ate 5 gum everywhere in Hong Kong. Like that was so good every time.
Oh,
in school,
5.
like,
Oh, it's gone. I don't
Oh,
think
it's
it
gone.
continued in Hong Kong. Eli, is it? It's
yeah,
gone,
it's
right?
gone, it's gone.
Oh,
I love
I
can't
five.
find it
I
anymore.
love
5 gum
five.
was so good. I had that so many times in high
There's
school.
still 5 gum in America, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
eating it a lot in America.
Five have a very good feel, like the elastic.
I like
ratio.
5, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not heard of in Singapore. What's 5? I don't know. Chewing gum, never heard of it.
Yeah,
You can't
have
have
you-
it
Malaysia.
in Singapore.
Have you ever
You
saw
get
someone?
arrested.
Have you ever saw someone like like chewing something on the streets and you're like, oh shit.
Yo,
It better not be
Gotta report it.
You can't
Oh, fuck.
vape, yeah. You cannot vape in Singapore as well because that's banned too. Because
Mm.
You
they're
can't.
no, you cannot. Like
Ah,
you know,
okay.
people try to
okay.
import it to try to do that.
Oh,
So-
that,
Everything.
you mean vape as in like e-cigarette or like everything that's related to vaping?
Yeah. Everything that's
Okay.
related to vaping is not allowed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That was a pretty good conversation, huh?
Yeah, I think
I
we
was
covered
gonna-
everything. Like a lot of
Except for
I was
recession.
gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say, like,
You know what?
I was actually gonna say, like, speaking of taxes, now
I was
let's talk
trying so
about
hard
rece-
to
the
lead you
recession.
into recession. You keep going back. I was thinking, like, oh, you guys know the emotion, like depression. You know how and then you're like, yeah, depression, and then you go into another
Depression,
tangent.
environment,
I was gonna-
psychedelics.
I was trying to push you into like, oh, what do you think about emotion in like different environment? And then you keep not going to emotion. You keep going to like the chip. I mean, stop talking about the chip.
I didn't even know you thought we were trying to have emotion. We just talk about random shit. It's like, okay.
I mean,
let me
yeah.
just go.
What would you like to share for the recession? Give us your hot take. Give
Hot
us-
take on recession.
Hot take. Yeah, give us your hot take.
Okay, to be optimistic, I think we're all going to hell, but in the end of the day,
Yo, that's not very
Only
optimistic,
you,
man.
only you and your chewing gum ass in Singapore.
we're all going to hell. But in the end of the day, you know, I think we're gonna come out of it like okay, like it's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot, yeah, just like
It's
the
gonna be
five gums. Hella hot. Alright,
I
so
hope
just
you're not optimistic at all.
before we leave, just one more question. Satish, is there a heaven?
Is there heaven? I think I don't. Oh God.
It is a place on
I think
earth.
He just said there was hell, but there's no heaven.
I mean, we have all done some nasty stuff, so I don't think there's. Like,
No,
Bro,
no.
whoa, don't speak for me. You don't know me.
Technically,
you don't know me,
hey.
man.
Well, I mean, technically, Jesus died for our sins, so he kind of erased everything.
We're gonna all.
What about the sins?
we-
Yo, you never
What
even
about the
asked
sins
Satish
that come
What if
afterwards?
Satish was
No,
was
that's
a-
why he
Yeah.
forgive all sins
Yeah, what
afterwards.
if
That's why.
Satish was a Muslim? Huh?
Yeah, man. What a,
Yeah,
what
man,
a-
you just
I don't
assumed
know.
his
I don't know.
religion.
I'm just asking. What is there heaven in Muslim? I don't know what they do.
I'm not even Muslim. I'm Hindu.
They just starved themselves. What the fuck you talking
I
about?
didn't even believe in this thing.
I'm sorry, but like we talked about this last time, right? Jesus died for our sins. That's why after his death, all the sins are forgiven. Wait, we talked about this last
Did we?
time.
But
You did
to
in the
what
religion
extent,
episode.
though? To what extent though? Like how many years?
Okay,
Can you be like
like,
4,000
okay,
years?
It's like
okay,
forever.
I-
We're forever
Okay,
forgiven.
I understand. I understand that Dante Inferno is like a novel, like it's not actually real. But like in Dante Inferno, they refer that people that that are on Earth before Jesus passed would just automatically get sent to hell because Jesus
Yo,
wasn't there
wow.
to forgive your sin.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, so
Wait,
that was
what?
their idea of like that's why there's another like theory. It's like there's no hell because everyone is going to the heaven because Jesus died for our sins.
Damn.
What?
So I could
Yeah,
just.
that's the theory. There's no
could-
hell.
So I could just kill people and just be like, all right.
Yeah,
Jesus died
you
for my
can. Yeah,
sins.
like, just before you die, you say that, oh, I believe in Christianity and please forgive my sins, and then you confess your sins. You will have a entry card to go to heaven.
Damn. That was
Yeah.
easy.
That's why all the inmates are going into Christian because they know they're gonna go to hell if they don't.
What if they're wrong?
Okay,
What if they're wrong?
What if you're wrong though?
I don't think it matters anymore.
Like-
What about it?
You're
What
wrong,
if I'm in-
Stan. Sorry, the Jews got it right.
What if I'm in hell? I'm like, fuck you, Jerry. Like, you was the guy who were
No,
trying to.
if you're wrong, you wouldn't be like fuck you, Jerry. You'd be like fuck you, Jerry, because I'll be next to you. What the fuck do you mean? We're all going to hell if I'm wrong.
That's bad. You never know.
All right. That's good.
Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a great end to. Oh. So is there heaven?
What?
What?
Well, you didn't answer the question. Is there heaven?
Oh, I don't think so. No. I feel like.
We better
Yeah.
finish this brain implant thing quick so we can like. do
Like
some
enjoy
simulations
the
and
time
stuff.
that we have. Like if we get Alzheimer, at least we can play League together, right? Small amount of time that we have.
I mean, like it's. I think we're all gonna just like pass away. Like. Next.
Yeah, no
Bro.
shit. Bro, like,
Like,
no shit.
You
We
said you
are
wanted to be
not Walt
optimistic,
Disney. We
man.
don't have any freezing brain.
It's literally the most depressing episode we had.
Is that we're all going to hell?
We're all just
I
gonna
don't think it
die.
helped you.
We're all just gonna
I
die.
don't
Go
think
That's
it
to
why
helped you at all,
YOLO and get the chip implant, guys. It'll be
Oh
very
my
beneficial
God.
for your daily life. Because what's worse? Nothing. You're going to hell anyway.
Oh my god.
Well, that's
a good
about
wrap.
it. You guys
That's a
heard
good
it
wrap.
from the neuroscientist himself. Everyone is going to hell. That didn't help anyone. That people are going through depression. Like, oh shit, yeah, we're going to hell anyway,
Yeah,
right?
I guess the recession is not that bad after all.
Yeah, recession ain't that bad after all, yeah.
It's not that.
So yeah, thanks Satish for coming in here to join us for this episode. It was very fun. To all our audience, this is definitely gonna be a two-parter. So thanks for sitting here for these 2 weeks with us. Yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed the weekend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week.
Alright.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
the invite. See you.